I get that. Okay.
And I do seriously think like we need to figure out, like we need to lean in to what the market is saying. And the market is saying we're heading into a recession, and recessions bring a lot of beauty out of them. And I feel like it's a time to sit back and reflect and pivot or double down. And people that need to pivot need to go to you and like, we're headed into a recession, things are slow, I kind of don't want to do this anymore, you know, like this is the time to shift and work on yourself. And as a salesperson or as an entrepreneur that kind of sucks at sales, like right now is the time to double down too, because not everyone's going to make it in the next year. And like, we can help you figure out how to make it and stand out among the businesses that are going to fail. And it's like everything I've been listening to is we need this because the lack of customer service that came out of COVID is just insane.
Dude.
Insane. It has never been worse. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The value of a customer has just gone downhill so hard that I honestly believe this is a growing pain that we need, because you and I are all about service. We put our clients first. We're never going to have a problem keeping our doors open. But like the construction, for example, I don't know a general contractor right now that is not doing any more than the bare minimum. And it's because there's so much money in the world that they're not having to go around and do the right things and follow up with clients and call people back on time because they don't have to. And we as consumers want to be treated more fairly from airlines, hotels, service people, like restaurants. People are going to have to fight to stay in business. And when they fight to stay in business, they value the customer, and then they start treating the customer right. And so really for me in sales and in business, it is about going above and beyond in the next year, because no one's going even above. And the world's fixing to get shut down, and those businesses that aren't doing what they need to do are going to die out, and you're going to come out even stronger with referrals in this time of people screwed over. So yeah, it's scary, but again, the value of a customer is the only way that our businesses are going to survive the next year. And it's low-hanging fruit. Like, that's the good thing. I got ghosted twice by a digital marketer, and it's just like, how do you give your money away anymore?
Right?
It's so screwed. So it's like, we got to cut out the fat. It's the 80-20 rule. You know, 80% of the business is done by 20% of the companies in the world that are in that industry, because they focus and they hustle and they treat their customers right. And it's time to trim the fat. It's time, like, not vindictively, but like, if you're not in it for the customer, you're going to go bankrupt, and rightfully so. You shouldn't be in business.
Yeah, that's so fucking true.
Yeah. So it's all about like old school. And I feel a little bit like special when it comes to this, because I am Southern and grew up in hospitality. Right. No one has better hospitality than the South. We know how to treat people. We know how to talk to people. We were raised with manners. And so it's about leaning into these like old school ways. And I'm talking like handwriting thank you cards. Get out of the screen.
Get out of what?
Get out of the screen and like actually send people tangible things. Like, remember people's birthdays that are your clients. Send them, you know, something that's like, you know, one year I went and bought 3 packs of wrapping paper, tied a bow around them, and printed out these tags, and hole punched it, did the really pretty ribbon, tied it up, and propped them up at every door of every house I sold that year. And I said, thank you for helping me wrap up a wonderful year. And yeah, it was like the first week of December. And it's like, no one ever has enough wrapping paper. You always have some backup. It's something that I sold a house in January, and I'm still following up with you in December. for referrals. That is service. That is not forgetting your client the moment you cash their check. That is how you keep going and
Oh
get that.
man, I have chills. That is fucking gold. We're recording.
I know.
Good. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
So like personal time with them, you know, I like to do is like we have pie parties around Thanksgiving. We always deliver pies, community events. Another thing like that bugs me to death is eye contact. There's just
What?
people don't know how to have eye contact anymore.
Oh, eye contact. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, you know, teaching people, especially younger people, body language, eye contact, how much is too much, how much is too little. Just, it's all about like etiquette and helping people feel comfortable around you. And I feel like in the last 2 years, and I'm guilty of it too. It's been like between COVID, Black Lives Matter, politics, it just feels like we've all been like this angry, ready to fight, kind of like guard up, wall up. And now it's like, it's time to shift. That time is over. That lack of safety and security feeling we have to move out of back into productivity and achievement. And so it's like, we've got to drop the walls and be kinder and show up with more etiquette and make people feel comfortable instead of us making people feel uncomfortable that are different than us.
Okay. I love that. I love that so much. And what, to piggyback off of that, then you were made mention of something. I can't remember if Dean said it, but he was saying that when you go through like a global or whatever catastrophe, there's different stages of that catastrophe. And we got stuck in a stage after COVID. Can you speak to that?
Yes, it was Brandon Bouchard. And he was with, you know, in Dean's program, but he talked about 3 phases. And phase 1 was shock and safety. That was March of 2020. We're in shock. We're seeking safety. The only thing on everyone's mind is stay alive, not business, not whatever. It's just how we're going to stay alive. So shock and safety. Phase 2 is where we're all stuck. That's the coping and dealing phase. We're still coping. We're still making excuses. We're still kind of like waiting to see what happens. You know, are we going to grow a 3rd arm from our vaccine? Did it work? Are we going to have one every year? You know, it's just like, are we microchip? Whatever. We're still living in this kind of scared, skeptical, just not sexy, healthy prosperity vibes. And when you kind of, and I see it in a lot of our friends, I see it in a lot of our family, you know, I'll call and they'll just, well, I'm not doing this at Thanksgiving because she did it last year for me. And, you know, like all of these kind of emotional traumas from the last 2 years, because everyone handled it so differently, that they're not allowing themselves to shake that off and keep going. They're just stuck in this coping and dealing, and I'm going to deal with it in my house, and I'm going to be mean and judge people. And you have to recognize that in yourself, and you have to just shake it off and just shift. And if it's like, I can't make a sale because it's the holidays and no one has any extra money. Nope. Shift out of that shit. Like, there's people making sales right now. I can tell you my broker's best year was in 2009 when every real estate agent was sitting on their ass saying that we're in a recession and I can't sell a house. Like, the world keeps going. So let it go and sit and let your life pass you by. You do you. But you and I, productivity and achievement every single day. That's the phase we're going to live in, like mentally.
Is that the next, then you said that it's broken up into phases. Phase 1, we're stuck in phase 2. Phase 3 is productivity and achievement.
Correct.
Okay. So it's helping people get from, we're in this stuck era, this where we're holding grudges. We have walls up. We are just creating unnecessary boundaries that aren't productive. Right. And we kept bumping up against these walls and then creating internal narrative inside of ourselves as we're doing that. And then it's about filtering out of that then and getting into this, you know, productivity stage. And you're saying that's kind of like, in terms of our business, that's where we come in. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. You kind of help. And you know me, I'm tough love kind of coach. And it is about calling out the excuses, because that's what my parents did for me when I was like, I can't get this horse to work with me and it's all his fault. And it's like, well, does the horse teach itself, or are you the jockey? You know, it's kind of like that. It's like, my business isn't going where I want it to be, and it's all Joe Biden's fault. And it's like, is it? Or if you got off your ass and did something, would you be in a different place today? You know, and I get it. You know, I'm political, and you know I believe in that things, but they're not coming to save us.
Nobody's coming to save us.
No one, not your husband, not your mama, not your politician. It is just time to stop making excuses and take uncomfortable action every single day, even if it's the wrong decision. Just make a damn decision.
Because if it is the wrong decision, then what does that mean?
That
quote unquote,
you know what
the wrong
to do.
decision. The wrong decision.
You learn something. You can speak to it. You can move on, and versus never moving on. I mean, you just sit there and worlds just pass you by, and your life is just, you're 60 years old and you have so many regrets. So yeah, I think from everything I've been reading, recessions are good. They're going to trim the fat. They make businesses more efficient. Look at me. I mean, I am an in-person type of girl, and I've learned how to post a reel last week at 31. So, I mean, I'm learning to be more efficient, unfortunately.
Love it.
I know. I'll be the example that's kicking and screaming, but like figuring it out. So I think there's really good things to come from it. I don't think any of us need to be scared. If you double down and treat your clients like gold, there's nothing to worry about. And I told you I was going to talk about some companies that were built in recessions. So 1975, there was a big recession. It was an oil embargo. And that was the year Microsoft was launched.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So in 1982, which was the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, Electronic Arts was born. As we know, EA Sports, Madden, billion-dollar company, 1982. The 1990 recession launched iRobot, which, you know, I own a Roomba. And then that 2008, 2009 is like the most memorable, I feel like, for our age group. And through that, Airbnb, Uber, and Slack were all born.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. In 2008, 2009.
Yeah. So you and I are huge components of literally every company minus the EA Sports. And all of these were ideas and built in big recessions, bigger than the one that's coming. So I just hope that gives people like a plan and a path to lower their anxiety. And they just know, okay, we're headed into recession. Money's going to get tight. I've got to be the one that treats everyone like gold. Call them back immediately. Have that eye contact. Send them gifts and trinkets. Let them know that you love them and you know, they mean the world to you as a business owner. And you'll come out of it 10 times stronger.